Yeah, so the first time, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought now. Oh, yeah, we were talking about the firecracker on the Black Friday. Um, a lot of times when I have the firecrackers, and again, they're different every year, it's usually based off of an existing blend of something from whoever makes it. And it's always interesting to smoke it and see, like, how, because, like, for example, there was, Christoph did it on their Pissed Off Christoph line, which is a very strong cigar. So I'm like, oh, let's see how this compares to the rest of the Pissed Off line. And then they did the Perdomo 20th this year, and I'm like, all right, that's the sun grown, and I'm like, all right, let's see how that compares to the regular line. So now I'm excited because I really loved the Black Friday. I'm just I want to smoke them side by side, and like at the same time, and just really compare the flavor notes, the strength profile, the taste. And I know they'll be different, but I'm just excited to see like how it matches up to like the regular
That's
line.
it.
It's just exciting for me. I guess that's just my cigar geek side coming out. I definitely do that. But tell us a little bit about yourself. So I've met you before. We've talked before. I know a little bit about you, but for the viewing audience, um,
No, I mean, just like, I, I mean, probably I'm really lucky to be here in the U.S. and be in the cigar business because I never knew I would be doing this. I left Cuba 12 years ago in 2008, and when I left Cuba, I was in medical school. I never imagined I never imagined I would be in the cigar business.
well, it's funny because you were saying, you lived in Cuba, which, obviously is a very huge Cuban cigar. I mean, is a cigar country. The Cuban cigars are, everybody knows about cigars. That's probably one of the things Cuba's most known for is cigars. And you weren't into cigars until you left Cuba and came to the U.S. is when you got into cigars.
Yes,
So as a
correct. Yeah,
as a Cuban who grew up in Cuba, had nothing to do with cigars. You came to the U.S. and then you're like, all right, let's get into cigars now. It's so funny, but it's great, and it's it's
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
almost kind of like, I don't want to put it this way, but it's also kind of like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's almost like you lived up to like your heritage. You know what I mean? Like Cubans are like known for like their cigar making and all that, and it's like you still lived up to the one of the big Cuban things is making cigars and being in the cigar
And, and, and,
industry.
and and the other thing, that's why I put a HVC, Havana City.
Right. Mm.
And the other part is, like, my family's been in the business for almost 20 years now, working with Tobacco.
Yeah.
So that's really when I went to Nicaragua in 2009 and really started learning about the process. The tobacco, Eduardo Fernandez, the owner of Aganosa, that's when he invited me to go there and he showed me all the process, and I fell in love with it. And that's when opportunity knock out your door and you say, you take it or you leave it.
Yeah. I mean, I would.
But the good thing was that it's like I started that when I was 26. I'm 35 now. So probably if I were doing that when I would be like 60 to 70, you say, wow, it would be more difficult. You need a lot of energy in the business to go out there.
It's a lot of work for sure. It definitely is a lot of
Of
work.
course.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you do something that you really like it, that you're really passionate about it, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. When you have the passion for it, when it means something to you, when you love it, it makes it easier to deal with when it is tough. Because no matter what you do, if you're working hard at something, you're building something, there's going to be times when it's tough and it's hard and it's frustrating and all
I mean,
that.
it's something, I think in life, you have to find something that you really like.
Right.
It doesn't make sense how hard you work in life. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, don't do it.
Hmm.
You're really wasting your time doing that. May you find something that you really like and you put in your effort and you really enjoy it. That's part of life.
Exactly.
I always tell people, look something that you like it and work hard and great things can happen.
Yeah. It definitely, when you like what you do, it's definitely a more of a driving force behind you to do it. You want to do it more because it means something to you. You have a connection to it. It's almost like an obsession. When you like have something that you're obsessed with and that's like what you do, you're always going to be dialed in on it. You're going to be focused. You're going to have the drive. You're going to have the passion for it because it's like all you can think about. And I feel like with you, you found it. You got cigars and tobacco, and that was just like that was it for you. And you were like, this is it. And now that's your whole world now is cigars. And
And the other part, always you have to be open to learn.
right,
Be always be something like I say, I don't know nothing. You know what I mean? All I share is what I'm being really fortunate to be around the people with a lot of experience,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn a lot from those people. So I always say to people like, never be afraid just to learn a new things. Don't think like you know everything because not really.
This, it's so true, and you see this in so many different. It doesn't matter what industry it is. It could be the cigar
Exactly,
industry.
yeah.
It could be the hotel industry, the restaurant industry. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter what it is you do, there's people with 20, 30, 40 years of experience, they're still learning something new. There's people, and I find that some of the most successful people are people who claim, who do say, like, I don't claim to know everything. I still learn something every day. People who have been doing something for 40 years to say, I'm still learning stuff every day. It's the people who are like, no, 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 I know what I'm doing. I'm good. Those are the people who run into the trouble because their mind gets closed off and you can only focus on like this like tunnel vision and you block everything out and you miss the good things that are happening around you and you don't absorb that and learn from it and better yourself because you can always learn more. You can always better yourself. You can always live a better life than you did yesterday. So yeah, I think that's a great attitude to have. You seem like one of those guys, and we interview a lot of people, but you're so focused, you're so driven. It's one of the things I like about you, and you totally have a lot of passion for it. So that's really admirable. I mean, there's some people in the industry who I think, a lot of people are really passionate about the cigar industry, but there's definitely people who have more passion than others. I would say you're definitely one of the more passionate people who are really into it, and I can tell you love it. You still want to learn. There's always something. You seem like the kind of guy, and I mean this with total respect. You seem like the kind of guy who asks a lot of questions because you just want to know, like, hey, why does that happen? Like, what happens about this, which is great because that's the only way you learn. You got to ask questions. So, but yeah, no, and that's it's fantastic. And again, I was excited to have you on the show because, like I said, I did the Ashholes podcast with you about a month ago, and that was a great time. And that was a little bit of a different setting. This is a little bit more one-on-one, and I'm kind of get to.
I really love this right now. This is smoking this series right now. It's like, damn, oh my goodness, I'm loving it right now.
Yeah,
I got sweetness, I got balance. It's like butter.
Yeah, I mean, you did a great job. I've had that cigar. It's fantastic.
To me, it's like when you blend with great tobacco,
Yeah.
something good has to come out with it. It's
Mm.
difficult to do things when you don't have good tobacco on it.
This hot cake is just wow. Job well done.
I mean, the hot cake right now, they doing so hot, but it's so hot that we cannot keep in stock right now.
So I'm still kind of in the beginning. I had to relight it because I put it down. We were talking and it went out and I forgot about it. But now that we're in the show, I'm comfortable. I got the cigar relit. I'm continuing the burn. Draw's great. A lot of smoke production. And, it's not like some cigars where they have a really oily wrapper and that adds to the smoke production. It's not a very oily wrapper. It's a very nice wrapper. But it's not, it's not like a Liga. Like Liga provided with a very oily wrapper. It creates all that almost like artificial smoke. This has plenty of natural smoke, which I like. I like a cigar with a lot of smoke. And the flavor is I'm still getting that rosemary. Now I'm still at the beginning, and I'm sure it'll change as I go down, but I'm still getting that rosemary, that rich spice flavor. It's just so enjoyable. I'm really blown away by this cigar. As soon as you get more, I gotta get a box of these because it's like
When I came out with the hot cake, and I was like, that's a cigar that we use 3 types of seed. Aganosa is really big known for Criollo 98, Corojo 99, right? So in the hot cake, we use they grow, but not really big on that. It's called Corojo 2006.
Okay.
So and we use and the filler Viso Maduro.
Okay.
So they bring the cigar a flavor that was, wow, this is different from what I have. And the other part for me, the cigar is more in the full size. I am the guy, I don't smoke really, really full body cigars. I smoke medium full. So the hot cake for me is more in the full size. And like you say, it's really enjoyable smoke.
Yeah, I like I said, to me it's, I mean, I do smoke a lot of really strong stuff. Not all the time, but somewhat frequently. So I don't know if that's just me, but this cigar, it's more of a medium to medium full for me. I wouldn't call it a full cigar. It's right in the middle. Like I said, it's not too strong, but it has plenty of flavor, plenty of punch. It's very very delicious, and it's a cigar like this. So far this is a well-rounded cigar, and this is the exact kind of cigar that I like to smoke all the time. I enjoy a milder cigar from time to time. I'll do a really dark, strong Maduro, like a San Andreas wrapper,
Broadleaf.
broadleaf. I'll do, those. I enjoy them. I smoke plenty of them. But something that's right in the middle like this is great. This is like the perfect, this is a cigar I would smoke to just zen out, relax. It's not too much, but it's plenty to keep me going and interested. It's not, like some of the, like some of the more milder Connecticut, even like some of the Davidoffs that are known for being, on the, milder side. They're good, but you almost kind of, I don't know, they get boring after a while. This is a cigar I can tell right off the bat I'm interested, and it's going to keep me interested, and it's only going to get better as I burn. I can already tell. This cigar is just going to continue to keep me focused and keep me entertained as I get into it, and it's just phenomenal. I can't say enough about it. I'm blown away. So far in your line, you have the Serie A, you now have the Hot Cake, you have the Black Friday, which is more of a special release that comes out. You have and then you have. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, and then I was gonna say, and then you have, is it the broadleaf line that comes in the box of the 10 and 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. It's very interesting for those who don't know. So you have a box, and correct me if I have this wrong. I think I have this right. It's like 10 Toros and then 10 Robustos all in one box.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit behind what kind of thought process went into that packaging design.
I mean that's the packaging design say like first the cigar was a limited edition back in 2018 at the PCA, IPCPR by that time,
yep.
PCA right now. And then I said, well, want to make something cool, limited edition. I think we did like 300 boxes. People love it. They say, we love it. Look at the presentation. It's so unique, so flashy, so people's face. And then when we sold out, a lot of retailers say, Lorenzo, you need this cigar. I want the cigar coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want the cigar to be in the market again. People love it. And I say, well, let me keep it that way. But if the box is too long, it takes a lot of space in the humidor. So right now, for the next batch of the broadleaf, we're going to do separate. We're going to do, because people say, we love it, but take a lot of space in the humidor.
Right.
So, and I say, don't worry, we're going to fix that. But what happened right now, broadleaf is so really hard to find right now.
It is.
I mean, I was in Nicaragua a couple of weeks, and I cannot find it.
Yeah.
I mean, a good broadleaf. I saw some broadleaf, but it was not the broadleaf I am into it. Mm-hmm. And I say, you know what, I'm going to pass. I'm not going to buy this time. So when something came back, something that like it for that blend that we have, so we're going to keep rolling. But
so in other words, basically what you're saying is there was some broadleaf, but it wasn't up to your standard of where you want it to be.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's important. There's and again, I don't like to mention any names, and I'm not going to do it. But just for the sake of conversation, there's manufacturers out there who have, whatever a specific line, and it uses a broadleaf wrapper, and they'll release it. They'll have a good broadleaf wrapper, and it's a great cigar. It's fantastic. Maybe next year, they new crop, another good broadleaf wrapper, and they keep using it. Then you get to a period where broadleaf wrapper is a good broadleaf wrapper, like you said, is a little bit hard to come by right now. And that company is like, well, screw it. We're just going to keep using broadleaf wrapper because that's what we use. And if it's a lower quality, it's a lower quality. And, then what happens is you still make cigars and you sell them out. But then people who smoke that cigar all the time, now they grab a cigar and like, wow, this isn't as good as it was because it tastes different. It's not the same. It just seems like it's a lower quality, whatever. And then all of a sudden people start to change. And that's one of those things like, they were talking about this on a couple other shows. We talked about it on here, especially with a cigar shortage right now. There's, a lot of manufacturers are experiencing, a general cigar shortage in general, just production, stuff like that. And there was a conversation that happened on another show where, they spoke about, the fear of some manufacturers just rushing their cigars just to get them out because they want to just keep the supply going. So they're not going to have the same quality that they normally have because they're using whatever tobacco they get. They're rolling them, they're aging them either not at all or they're not aging them long enough. They're dropping them in the box to getting them out, and the quality goes down. And you know who that really hurts? That hurts the consumer because it's the end consumer who goes and they buy that cigar. That someone like yourself, you spend all your time blending that cigar and putting it together and making this beautiful product for the end consumer to walk into a cigar shop and they find HVC and they, the Serie A, or the Hot Cake, or the Black Friday, or the Broadleaf, and they're like, oh, I love that cigar. And then, not that you would do this, but just as an example, someone like yourself who, makes cigars, and then, you have a brand who just kind of goes, well, we're just gonna rush it and get it out, and then all of a sudden the quality goes down, and then, you sometimes you lose a customer that way because like this cigar is not the same. And it definitely sounds like you're the type of guy who takes all that into consideration. You're looking for broadleaf. You found broadleaf that wasn't good, and no, it's not good enough. We'll wait. Which is, that's.
I mean, I always compare these I mean, I love to eat in a good restaurants, and every time I go out there, it's something really good restaurant. You want to keep eating in that place because you know how good they will be, right?
Right.
So, but like you say, when you got one day you say, wow, it's not good. And the next day you say, let me give you another try. And you say, well, I've been there a few times already and I don't like it. So something changes. So I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to go there anymore.
Exactly.
That happened.
Yeah, it's almost the same analogy. It's the same thing with, a cigar or really any product, that's like that, like a cigar or a wine or a whiskey or like any kind of beverage or food, that's somewhat consistent. You have something, you like the taste of it, you like the feel of it or whatever. You buy that product all the time, and then all of a sudden, even like a wine. Let's say there's a specific blend of a wine from a certain winery you have, and you drink it, and every year you drink every year's batch, and then let's say, you get to the 20. You 16 was good, 17 was good, 18 was phenomenal. Then you get to 19 and you're like, well, it doesn't taste like it used to. It's almost like something changed. They used different grapes, or the harvest was bad this year or something like that. And you're like, but okay, maybe this was a bad batch bottle. Maybe just this year's crop was a little different. All right, then you go next year and it's either the same or it's worse. And you're like, oh, well, it seems like this is really dropping off. You stop buying that wine and you go find something else because you're like, well, I gave them 2 shots and they're not the same. They're not as good as they used to be. And it's the same with cigars and in any product you have. You got to keep the consistency.
I mean, and that's consistency is a key, right?
Yeah.
And the good things like to work with Aganorsa Tobacco, they are really keys. They the same farms every year, the same seeds every year. So that's when the consistency really started there.
Yeah.
Right? You get the soil, the same trimming every year, or maybe it's something better, you can improve it. That's always welcome. But at the same time, you want to keep consistency. Imagine this situation like you have the same farms, and every year you start growing different type of seed.
Right.
You say, whoa, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah.
So, I'm getting something it's not the same. So, and that's a key in this business. To have the consistencies, like for me as a consumer, for you as a consumer, you want to keep smoking the same cigar that you're smoking right now in the next 10 years.
Absolutely. And I think that it's, I said this to you before, before we were on the show. I think it's great, you're working with Aganorsa Leaf. It's a great company. Their own cigars, they have phenomenal. They have some amazing stuff. We had Terrence Riley on the show a few months ago. We smoked their new Supreme Leaf that they just came out with this year. Fantastic cigar. Great company, great people, great tobaccos in general. Just all of their stuff, your stuff. I've been a huge fan of everything they've made. Ever since I was turned on to them a few years ago.
I mean, and the other beauty about tobacco is like how many blends you can do it with the same amount of tobacco. Look at the people that, like you say, Aganorsa, you got Dion Williamson, you got Warp, you got Melillo, you got all the guys that do tobacco with them. And everybody, all of these, we have different palates.
Right.
When I say this to me, everybody got their own mind when they go down there to blend a cigar.
Hmm.
And that's the beauty. I can give you the same tobacco, and we can create many, many, many of different blends.
Yeah, and I think that it's truly, I think it's unique in itself. Someone like you know, you actually get to go through the blending process. You get to just try these tobaccos, taste them, figure them out, try to put them together and make a cigar out of them. I think that's a very unique process, and a lot of consumers, they don't get to experience that. It's not like smoking. How do I say this? I've never done it myself. I've always wanted to, experience the whole blending process. But I would say that from what I imagined, it's definitely a very unique experience because I would say that your palate it kind of comes into a different play during a blending process than when you're just smoking a finished cigar product and you cut it and you light it. It's already been blended. It's already been aged. It's already good to go. And you kind of know what to expect. Versus when you're smoking just different tobaccos and you're trying to figure out how to put them together and you're really paying attention to the flavor and the taste of the tobacco. You're not thinking of it like, well, let me get the whole thing like a finished cigar. You're just trying to follow very specific things and you're trying to pair them together to make a whole blend. That's an experience I've always wanted to try and something that you get to do all the time, which is fantastic. Um, Tell us a little bit
I
more.
mean,
Tell us a little bit more about the
that
blending process, like for you. Like, like
I mean, like
when you do
we
that.
we we always we always love to try first to try the separate individual materials. Small de viso, small de ligeros, small de secos, and then to make sure the fermentation process is right?
Yeah.
So to make sure the tobacco is ready. And when that happens, we say, well, I like this give me this in my palate, and I don't like this is, I don't know, whatever can be to try it. And at some point you say, well, let's start blending, right?
Right.
We always like to try like 52 by 6 as a great size to start doing in a blend.
Right.
And then a lot of time you fail.
Hmm.
When I say you fail, it's because when you put it together, it's not what you're looking for.
Right.
That's why you got to keep trying. You say, well, you know, think about this. You got two viso, one seco, and two ligeros.
Hmm.
That's an example, right? Then don't think when you put that together, you will have a good cigar. That's when you got it, the tricky part. Like I compare this, like when you're cooking. I
Right.
always say this, right? Let's take the miso out. Try just the seco, just probably only one half leaf of the miso now only. And then that's what you say. You got the flavor, you got balance, you got clean finish. And the most important thing, you got the flavor that what you're really looking for.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
That's the beauty. And you got the tobacco right there, and you say, "Whoa, we tried this, and it's not working right now. Let's change priming. Maybe you was blending with a priming that's quite low, and now you want to go with something that's really high priming. So it's a lot of small details that you really have to be on it.
that's why, like for me, like when I smoke a cigar like the hot, and again, I call it how I see it. Just because he's on the show, if you're watching at home, just because he's on here doesn't mean I'm just saying this because he's here and I'm trying to be nice. I really like this cigar. I really do. I really was blown away by this. And it speaks for itself because no one can get any right now because they're all sold out. So, I mean, there's that too. But no, when I smoke a cigar like this, it hits all the right notes for me. Not just not like the flavor notes, just all of the notes in all the categories, the quality, the actual tasting profile of it. The smoke production, the draw, all the things that come, the quality, everything. It all has to be just right to be a very good cigar. And when you smoke a cigar like this, where you're like, wow, I love this. It tastes good, draws nice, good, a lot of smoke, the flavor profile is just right. You know that they got it right. A lot of work went into this to make it perfect. And when you smoke a cigar where you're like, nah, the flavor wasn't there, or like, nah, quality was a little rough, or like, nah, there's just something about it. It just wasn't right for me. I think that's kind of like when you mentioned before, like you're in the blending process, and then you get to a point where you go with that blend, and then you start making it, and then it doesn't really come out either the way you intended, or when the consumer tries it, it's like, I don't know where they were going with this because it's just not wowing me. And it's right. Like, it's almost like you fail. You let people down. They're like, wow, that cigar wasn't that good. And I feel like a lot of the companies like yourself, like HVC, which I think it's fair to say is a smaller of the brands. It's not, it's not huge like, like Padron or,
No,
like
no, no.
a
We
Davidoff. I think
we are a little Graham of Sam competition. That's what we are.
but that's the beauty though. A lot of people look at, these companies and they go, yeah, but that's like small company. Like, don't count those guys out. It's the smaller companies that have a smaller portfolio, but they have more focus on what they make. Like yourself, you spend a lot more time on your cigars, and there's a lot more dedication to them. And you, like I said, every cigar you've made, I think I've had at this point. I think, and I love all of them. Ever since I found it, I didn't find HVC till a year ago, and now I've smoked almost all of it, and it's fantastic, and just great stuff. And like I said, it's a smaller company. You get into the bigger company. Not that the bigger companies are bad. They're the bigger companies. They make good stuff, but it's when you start getting to, like, you have like 100 SKUs, you have 140 SKUs, you have all these different cigars, you have different lines, and then there's like 5 sizes in every line, and then things can get wonky. Not everything gets the full attention. But then someone such as yourself, you have a much smaller portfolio. There's a lot more time and dedication into what you make. And those are the hidden gems. And it's always those cigars where I'm like, wow, they really got it good. This is good. So I'm not surprised. And again, I'm blown away by this. This is just fantastic. We did have a question from the viewing audience. Someone was curious to know what part of Cuba you are from.
I burn and come away. It's
Camagüey.
in the yeah, come away. That's where I burned there, and I grew up in Havana.
Oh, okay. So you were born there and then you grew up in Havana.
Yes,
When so when
correct.
when did you move to Havana?
I mean, like, think about this. Like, my family was living, and my brothers and sisters were living in Havana.
Mhm.
And how do you say, like, in the middle school, I went there a few years, and I
Yeah.
went back,
Okay.
and then I moved completely in '98, and I
And
was there from '98 to 2008.
and in 2008 is when you came to the US.
Ah, yes, correct.
So it's funny, when I talked to you last time, you had said when you came to the US, you you went to Wisconsin. That's where you lived when you first came here. And it was funny because we were talking, I think Oliver Nouveau from United Cigar was also with us, and he was like,
And you
most
you can
most
you can see my
Cubans.
accent. It's really Wisconsin. Come on.
It's like, and most Cubans come to the U.S. They go to Florida and Miami. It's a very Cuban culture. You went all the way north, like to where it's cold. So we were saying on the show, we're from the New England area, so it's getting a little chilly as we're getting to October up here, and so you kind of know what we're talking about for someone from a southern warmer climate, because you did live up in the north for a while.
Yeah, probably that's the best things to happen to me. That was when and living there in Wisconsin. I came here. I mean, when you're in Cuba, you're really blind, right? And it's Cuba. And to me, when I was living there for 7 years in Wisconsin,
Yeah,
and it was great. It was great. I was living in Madison, college town, great friends up there. And actually, my first accounts in the business that was there, Wisconsin, Chicago,
yeah.
Michigan. Yeah.
Would you say
And it was,
it was definitely like a culture shock? You kind of go from like one extreme to the other.
I mean, I always got in my mind, I was 23 by that time. I'd say, hey, this is what we got to do, and let's go.
Yeah,
The only thing, I mean, it was cold like hell.
yeah. And I think it's colder
I
there
mean,
than
it
it is
is,
where we live.
yeah, but right now, you told me right now, hey, can you go back to Wisconsin and be there? I say, well, I have a great friend over there.
Yeah.
I love to go out there and spend time with them, but, oh, man, I really love the sun right now.
So, do you have a lot of family who still lives in Cuba?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Now, are you the only
Yeah.
one that came to the U.S., or did anyone come with you from your
No, my
family?
mom, my sister, my brothers,
Oh, okay.
nephews, cousins, yeah. But I have a big family there for my dad's side in Cuba.
Oh, okay.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I love talking to people, especially when they're from another country. I always like to learn about them and like where they came from, what their home culture was like, and like Nicole. Like a lot of people don't know, Nicole actually, she was born here in the United States, and when she was 11, she actually her mother is Irish, born in Ireland, and her mother came here and met her dad and all that, and then her parents separated, and when her parents separated, she actually moved to the United Kingdom at the age of 11 and grew up there,
Wow.
and then she came back to the United States later on when she was a little bit older. So she actually, lived in another country too. And I always, I know I annoy the shit out of her sometimes because I'm always asking her questions about what's England like and what's this like and what's this like. Because I just like to learn. Like I'm like, what's it like over there? So like every time I meet someone like yourself, I'm always intrigued. I'm like, oh, what's it like? How when you came over, like was it was it what you this is a good. So was America what you expected when you came over here, or was it like this isn't what I thought it was? um, so it's like I said, it's very interesting. Now when you came to the United States, um, so you were 23. You said when you came here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So what did you do so you didn't do cigars right away when you came here. What did you do for work before you got
No,
into the cigars?
I was working for a genetics company.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. Yeah, you had mentioned
Yes,
that
I was
before.
working for a genetics company because before I went to medical school in Cuba,
Hmm.
I had a background in, how do you say, veterinarian?
Veterinarian?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, I got a background in veterinarian, and I was working for that genetics company for 7 years there.
Wow. And then you left all that behind to get into the tobacco industry.
Correct.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
just
in the beginning, I was doing both. I was still working full time in the genetics companies,
right.
and my free time, I used to go to visit all these people there, and it was like, and my English is getting worse with the years. I don't know why, but at the time I remember to me that was funny. People say, "Lorenzo, we love your cigars," but I don't know what you say, man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was like, oh my god, what the and and that happened, and that happened, and I say Wisconsin to me was a great experience. It
Yeah.
was great.
So, sometimes people have that, I've seen this happen with people I know, where you grow up and you live in one type of area, and then you just make a life change and you go somewhere completely different, and it's a lot of times from my experience, watching other people do this is it can be very good. It's a life changing experience. You start a whole new lifestyle. You get into stuff you never like you with the cigars. You never even thought you'd be in the cigar business, and now here you are. You run an
Yeah.
HVC and you're making cigars and you're flying to Nicaragua and you're doing all of that, and it's like it's just funny how things work out, and it's you have a really good story, and it's really cool to see, and I'm
I mean,
again, props to you for
and the
for
other
for
part,
doing all
you
that.
gotta be like, this is America, right? So
Yeah. The it was funny. We were talking to we had Nick Perdomo on the show, and one of the uh, one of the things he had said was, I think it was his father who said it to me, and I believe the Perdomos are also of Cuban background. Yeah, they're of a Cuban background. I believe his father and his grandfather came over here from Cuba, and I think he said it was his father who said to him, America's the land of opportunity. If you're gonna do anything, this is where you're gonna do it, and it's I know Cuba's a much different country, politically and all of that, and to come to America and start something, I know that's the American dream, and that was one of the things that Nick Perdomo talked about with us is just his family came here, and they wanted to seek the American dream, and now here he is, and he has his own company that he runs now, and very successful cigar company, and it's amazing, people like yourself who've lived in those places where you don't always have that freedom to do that. You're able to come to the United
no, you
States.
can no, you cannot do that in Cuba.
No, you can't. And I
No,
don't think
you
a
can.
lot of people realize just how difficult life can be for the Cuban people living in Cuba. So, for someone like you to come to the United States and have the success you've had, that's really the dream right there, and that's amazing.
I mean, the other part is like we talked before, like I say, when you do something that you like really you love, like I say,
Yeah.
right? Like if you were in Cuba and you say, well, let me start my own business in Cuba. I don't know what your business, but it's not gonna happen.
Now, here's a curveball question for you. So, outside of HVC, if you were to smoke something, even outside of Agnor's Leaf, let's get away from Agnor's HVC. What is your favorite cigar to smoke? If you had to pick something that's non-Agnor's and non-HVC, what is a cigar you really enjoy? Oh, I think we just lost him. I don't know what happened there. We just lost him.
Let's see if he is gonna pop back on.
Oh, there he is.
And you,
Ah,
yeah, right.
that was weird. We lost you for a second.
Yeah, no, because like somebody was calling me.
Oh yeah, your video
You
is gone
there?
now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
There you are. There you are. There you are.
I mean, I always say my favorite cigar, Cohiba Siglo VI from Cuba.
Yeah.
When they are good, they are really good.
That, see, you said it right there. When they're good, because they're not. Sometimes, and again, the Cuban cigars. This is the problem with Cuban cigars. They have a lot of inconsistency, but when they're good, they're good.
I always say this, like, people say, well, I don't like them. I say, well, okay, yeah, that's what you like. But what I say this, when you find a really good Cuban cigar, they are good. They are completely different.
Yeah.
They got sweet, they got the creamy. They are not really heavy. I think Cuba don't have the tobacco to get to the level that we put it on flavor compared to Nicaragua,
Right.
not even Dominican Republic. So, but they are good. Like I say, creamy, sweetness, flavor, a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
Everything is start there. But like what I say, when they are good,
Right.
who knows? Sometimes you buy a box and you gotta throw away the whole box.
I know, that's the thing. Sometimes with the Cubans, you get a box of 25 and maybe only 8 of them are good, and the rest of them are plugged or like they don't taste right. And that's the interesting thing, especially you being Cuban, and now you've gotten into cigars, you've experienced Cuban cigars, you make cigars that are Nicaraguan. It's funny to see you compare, like the Cubans, like they don't cellophane the cigars, they don't really age them as well post roll. A lot of times they just roll them, they box them, they ship them. Versus a lot, we've talked about this before. Some of the best cigars in the world, like you just said, are coming out of Nicaragua. I mean, there's a lot of brands out there that are making cigars out of Nicaragua, and all of those brands are some of the most popular brands right now, and it's all Nicaraguan cigars. And obviously there's the allure and the mystique of Cuban cigars. How would you say?
But the other part is Nicaragua right now is the number one.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, Nicaragua right now. I mean, look at how many blends they came out from Nicaragua. They are great.
Yeah, and I feel like it's more of there's more opportunity over there. They have the Esteli, Jalapa, and there's so many different moving pieces down there right now. And then the Dominican is also a big cigar strong base, but I find with Dominican cigars they can be very. I want to say this the right way, but I know I'm not going to hit it right on the head. I find them sometimes to be very simple, and a lot of them can brand to brand. A lot of them they taste the same. Then you go to Nicaragua and you just see so much diversity amongst the cigars. Your cigars. Then you have several other brands, and they're all different, and they're all coming from Nicaragua. Then you go to the Dominican, and there's A, B, C brand, and they all kind of taste the same. And
I mean, like that's the beauty about even for a consumer part, right? That you have so many different cigars, and you can find something that you really like. Imagining everything would be the same. It would be so boring.
Yeah.
It would be so boring.
It would be.
Don't give me that. So give me something different.
So,
right?
One question I really wanted to ask you, as we kind of get to the end of 2020, and 2020 has been an odd year to say the least. What do you have going into 2021? I think everyone's trying to look ahead with a clean slate. New year, trying to start fresh. Is there anything that you have planned for next year that's coming out? We have already talked about the Black Friday and the firecracker. Next year, maybe next year's PCA or just next year in general. Do you have any new things that you can talk about or you want to talk about that you got coming out, or you just playing that one?
No, just I'm working. I'm working on it.
You're working on some stuff, though.
I'm working on it. So like I said, I was in Nicaragua a couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
and I'm working on it.
Okay. All
So
right. All right. All
I will
right.
leave it like that.
Well, all right. Well, and that's fair. That's very fair. Well, we'll stay tuned for that. I'm excited. I know you're working on something. I don't know what it is, and he didn't tell me before the show. A lot of times people think like they tell us, and then like we try to dance about it in public, and then they don't tell us. I really don't know. He didn't tell me, so but I'm excited because this is like I said, everything you've made has been fantastic. So I can only imagine you probably got something cool up your sleeve. Um, yeah, I'm still smoking the hot cake. Gotta relight it a little bit here because I've been talking a little bit too much tonight. It's the wine, you start drinking wine and you get a little.
So sometimes white can be a little tricky.
Yeah, it can be. Ooh, still good. Wow, very consistent. I will say. Still, the hot cake is very consistent. It's still
What did you fight? What did you favorite cigar?
my favorite cigar. Oh, a lot of people are gonna think that it's like ones I smoke all the time, but it's not. It's not something I smoke a lot, and I think that's why it's my favorite. Because when I do smoke it, it's something I take the time to enjoy. My favorite cigar is the Byron Gran Poema. It's it's a cigar that's just it's very unique for me. It's an undisclosed blend, so I can't really get into the specifics of it. I just know from my experiences with it and smoking it, it's the I know I mean the age that's on it. First of all, is tremendous. 5-year age post roll. Um, it's a Nelson Alfonso product for those who know Nelson Alfonso and his work with Selected Tobacco, Atabey, Byron. He's really good at what he does, and I would say that's it's a fuller bodied cigar. It's closer to the fuller side. It's really rich and it's really deep, and I don't smoke them all the time, but when I do, it's something I really enjoy. They can be a little hard to get their hands on. They only make I want
Put
to.
it up. I can hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, right now I can hear you right now.
Yeah, hold on. 1 second. You got something going on over there, Nicole? Well, that's strange. I don't know why you can't hear me. Could it be the Wi-Fi? No? Our network's good. That's strange. No? You still can't hear me?
Yeah, I'm good right now.
Wait, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, there we go. Oh, he's good. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, but no, yeah, the Byron Gran Poema, I would say. It's just like I said, it's well rounded, and it's a cigar I really enjoy, and I smoke it on special occasions, and I would say that's probably one of my favorites. But again, it's one of those things. Cigars in general, it's sacred, and I think you would
I mean,
agree with
like,
that too.
that's the funny when people say to me, like, what do you favorite HVC? I say, well, I don't have a favorite HVC. Probably my favorite would be HVC.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, always I'm looking for, like I say, like, flavor, a construction, and balance and clean finish. If you give me that, when it's a good cigar, you got to give credit. It's a good cigar.
Hmm.
No matter what company it is, no matter what. But, when I have the opportunity to create something, I really like it, I really love it,
Hmm.
that's what I'm smoking.
When you got into cigars, what was the first cigar that you actually smoked?
The first blend that we came out was the HVC first selection.
No,
That
like
we don't make
was that no, like the first cigar you actually smoked, like when you first tried cigars, the first one you ever had.
the Cohiba Siglo 6.
That was your
The,
first one.
the first one. I remember, think about my family from my dad's side, they are farmers.
Okay.
They're in Cuba and Camagüey. They buy this cheap cigar for $1. They give you 25 at the bodega,
Yeah.
at
Okay.
the grocery store, right?
Yep.
And I remember, I mean, I was so young, just giving a puff, but it was a joke. And I remember I was in a party. I was 18 or 19. My brother invited me to a party there in Havana. I went to the party, and the guy was passing out a box, Cohiba Siglo 6. And then I remember that was there's something here. And I don't have any idea about cigars by that time and how, with this. And I said, well, this is something that interesting you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
And that was probably, yeah. the first I see that I remember was that the Cohiba Siglo 6.
That's definitely a good one. I mean, I would say I've smoked most. Not well, I don't want to say most. I've smoked a good amount of the Cohiba line, and I would say out of all the Siglos, the Siglo 6 is one of my favorites as well. That's a good one. It's really well
Again, when they are good.
when they're good. Exactly, and you said it best. When they're good. Question for you: are you married by any chance?
Yes, I'm married.
Does your wife smoke cigars?
No, she
No.
doesn't.
Okay.
No,
I like
she
to,
don't. She don't care if she's next to me and I'm smoking cigar.
yeah.
She don't smoke cigars.
I just found that it's interesting. There's so much. There's so many more. I mean, there's a lot more women that I find smoking now, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like that really wasn't a thing.
It's great.
It is.
I love that part of the business. It's a beautiful thing.
I find more
So
women being.
even yeah, and this business probably I would like to say like what 99% of the business is a man thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always interesting to see, women getting into it. And I feel like there was a time when women were just like, "Oh no, cigars. That's like a guy's thing. They're gross. They smell, and blah 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 blah." And now all of a sudden, the women are kind of like, "Well, what's the hype about?" Now you're seeing like more and more women get into it,
Yeah,
which is great. And I think it's great for the industry. It's a whole nother
it's
market.
great. Yes, I mean the other part is the social media too. You say that a woman put a picture smoking cigars and
Yep.
right, like I don't know, maybe like 20 years was like that 20 years ago. I don't know, probably not.
Yeah. The that's the other thing too is social media is just changed the cigar business completely. Especially this year with the pandemic and everything. Everything was forced to go online. As a company, with HVC, obviously you've probably done a lot more of these virtual shows. You've done a lot more, video shows and meetings and all that. How have you guys used this time during this kind of world that we're living in to not only just better yourself as a brand, but also just, be more accessible online? Would you say that you guys have really ramped up and gotten more into your social media presence?
I
What are your
mean,
plans for that?
we always been doing that,
Hmm.
but at the same time, you see, like probably the most will be Instagram because Facebook, I see they don't really care about cigars.
Yeah. I
I seen Facebook is blocking all the time. You cannot even advertise cigars there.
Yeah, it's a shame, and YouTube I think also just started that this year. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that YouTube's actually going to make it so anything cigar related, like if it's, even like our show episodes and a lot of cigar show episodes on YouTube, they're going to make it so that way you have to have an account and verify that you're 21 before they even let you watch that video, which is a shame.
I
It's
mean, the other part is like they always say, like, no, because you're driving a young, I don't know, a young people, they say that. That's BS. I never
yeah,
been in a cigar shop and you see a 16, 17 years old boy and say, yeah, I want to smoke a cigar.
yeah,
That's not happen.
yeah. And this year, unfortunately, the age increase up to 21 federally for cigars. There was, and up in New Hampshire, where we live, it was 18, and I remember hearing stories about, you know, the day that it went to 21, there was people who are under 21 coming in the cigar shop like they always do, and they're like, no, you can't buy the cigar now. And it's like, what do you mean? Oh no, they changed the age on you. And it's like you're still an adult. You're 19 years old. You're 20 years old, and you're not allowed to buy a cigar. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's laughable. It's like, why are we doing this? There's bigger problems in the world. Um, do you So we're almost getting to the end of the first hour of the show here, but before we wrap up with you, um, kind of on the same topic, this year has been, like I said, it's been a very mix up of a year, and this kind of came up earlier. There's a lot of manufacturers and a lot of people who've been talking in the industry about, shortages coming and having a hard time fulfilling orders. We've seen manufacturers stop taking in new customers and new retailers because they want to be able to supply the ones that they already have. Do you guys feel that you're going to get into a shortage, or you're going to have a hard time fulfilling orders over the next, 3, 6, 9 months because of what's going on in the world?
I mean, so far we are blessed to work with and also to get that we got the tobacco.
Yep.
So right now in Nicaragua, the most hard thing is to get the labor.
Yep.
It's not a lot of labor available.
Mm-hmm.
So, but tobacco-wise, we are in good position right now.
So you have plenty of tobacco, but you just don't have as much workforce to really produce your stuff.
Correct.
So what capacity are your factories working at down there? Are they like half capacity?
I mean,
less?
right now, they are probably almost full right now.
Oh, they are full right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. I mean, we saw earlier in the year there was factories that were closed. Then they came
But
back.
the demand has been really high right now. People are smoking more cigars today than probably than ever.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. It is. I think a lot of people thought like, oh no, this is going to be a huge blow, and now people won't be buying cigars. People bought more cigars.
Yeah.
You thought like, oh, people are not going to smoke now. People bought more cigars during the time when a lot of people were unemployed or they weren't working and they're staying home. And I think it's because of that. They were at home and it's like, well, now I can just smoke all day. I know I did because it was like, you know,
I do.
I'm just going to smoke more because I have nowhere else to be. But yeah, I mean, and that's good. But at the same time, it's more people are buying cigars, more people are smoking cigars. But then, you know, you guys as manufacturers, there's a period where, okay, now the factory's closed because now you can't have staff in there. And so then your production starts to dwindle because you're not making cigars, but more people are buying. And then that's where that whole shortage comes into play. So yeah, I mean, and like you said, Aganorsa, you know, you're working with Aganorsa. That's a great company to be with. And, you know, we had Terrence Riley on earlier in the year, and we talked about that. And, you know, he said the same thing. You know, luckily, you know, they've been able to get through it so far. And a lot of the manufacturers we've talked to have said, you know, that they've been able to fare through it. Some manufacturers, not so much. There's been some trouble for some manufacturers. You know, they were closed for a while and then they came back at very small capacity. So, you know, it's good to hear that. It's good to hear that you guys are still being able to make your products. You're still working on something new. So it sounds to me like you're still pretty much business as usual right now.
Yeah.
Which is really good. So, and again, you know, we have something in the works from you. You're not going to tell us, which is fair. So we'll look forward to hearing about that. Before we let you go, is there anything specific that you wanted to talk about? Anything you want to mention? Anything you want to get into?
Black Friday 2020 is coming.
So that's really
keep it like that. I would keep it like that. Black Friday 2020 is coming. That's all.
Let me ask you another question. When can we expect more of the hotcakes to be available? Because it sounds to me like they're, as you said, they're on back orders. But how much longer are we gonna have to wait?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks? All right.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that.
The next container will arrive.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that. No, it's a really good cigar. I've been smoking it tonight. It's job well done. Fantastic. You know, again, another HVC cigar that has blown me away. You know,
thank you, and thank you for having me here on your show. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I always really happy to share where I came from, what we do. So,
you know, I really appreciate you coming on, and you know, thank you for telling us, you know, about yourself and coming from Cuba and getting into the industry, the stuff, you know, that you do with HVC on you know, on the blends that you have, the blends you're working on. You know, again, I love having these conversations with people. It's always interesting to see, you know, just kind of how they got into the industry, and just kind of, excuse me, is what, you know, what led them there. But yeah, I know you're a busy guy. Thank you for coming on the show. This was fantastic.
Thank you, Tobacco. Tobacco, remember Tobacco? When you told me Matthew Tobacco, and I say, nah, you kidding me? Remember when we had that conversation? I said, nah, that's...
yeah, no one ever believes me. They're always like, really? That's your name? Yeah. Yeah, you were like confused. I remember I told you and you looked at me like, wait, really? I'm like, yeah, no, it is. So, but yeah, hey, so thank you for coming on. And we'll chat with you soon. But right now we're going to go into our overtime period, and we're going to get into the news. We're going to get into the sports and all that other stuff. So until next time, we'll catch you later.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Good morning, everyone. Smokin Nicole here.
I am just going live super quick to make up some of our segments from our show last night. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, as we do, and we weren't able to finish the show. So I'm pretty sad about that. However, I decided to film some of the segments that we missed. Today is Friday. Happy Fuente Friday, everyone. I am not smoking cigars right now, as most of you know. I'm having a surgery next week. I should have stated that because people have been messaging me all week asking how I was. Unfortunately, it's next, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, but it is next week. And I wanted to give myself 2 full weeks without smoking. And, hopefully that'll just help me pretty much get better soon. So we'll see how that goes. So instead of me actually smoking a cigar today, in honor of Fuente Friday, I'm drinking my coffee out of my lovely Fuente mug. And where is he? Oh, I have my Carlito bobblehead right here, all in honor of Fuente Friday. So I'm just going to quickly kind of get into it. We are doing some segments. So we missed out on our cigar industry news segment last night, and we missed out on our sports segment. So I'm going to chat a little bit about our cigar industry news. So give me a minute here, because I'm doing the producing for the show and the talking for the show today. Normally I just produce. So let's see here. All right. So, welcome to our cigar industry news, brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. McAuliffe is one of our many wonderful sponsors here on the show today. Oh, and by the way, before we even get into the news, we just got a McAuliffe ashtray. This thing is beautiful. It's heavy duty, and I can't wait to be able to smoke with it. I just wanted to share it because it is just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous piece and definitely sturdy. That's what you need in an ashtray. I don't know about you, but I'm clumsy, so I need it to be sturdy. Let's see here. So into the news. It's actually a pretty quiet week this week with cigar industry news. There is a release, though, from Fuente. Fuente is coming out with something called Rare Pinks, which is going to be a line of 4 different sizes of cigars to support breast cancer awareness. So if you don't know, they've lost 2 family members in the Fuente family due to breast cancer. So they're coming out with this line called Rare Pinks, and there's a little bit of secrecy around it, but it will be being released in November 18th, I believe. It is going to be, let me just make sure I get this right here. The wrapper is going to be an Ecuadorian wrapper, and the filler will contain a hint of Nicaraguan tobacco. So everything Fuente has is great. When you have a great stick, you have a great stick. But what's really awesome about this is that $13 of every single box is going to go straight to the American Cancer Society to help benefit breast cancer research. So it's a really nice way for them to give back. They're going to have 4 sizes. They teased a Hemingway size, and then one that's going to be called a Lancero Figurado. And from each size, they're going to be selling, I think, 500 boxes of each. So I'm excited. As a female cigar smoker, anything that's pink I want. So I'm going to try to get my hands on one of those boxes, of course. That will be great. But yeah, that's it pretty much for news this week. Really, really, really quick segment. I am going to talk a little bit more about McAuliffe in a minute. I do want to just shoot over and talk about our sports segment. We also are going to do a quick trivia. So if you are a McAuliffe fan, any McAuliffe fans watching right now, I'm going to do a trivia question at the end of my segment where you can win some McAuliffe cigars. So just a few to tease you on a Friday. Nothing wrong with that. I won't be smoking them, so we have some extra. Let's see here. So, and hopefully I'm doing okay, everyone. I don't ever go live just by myself. If you haven't noticed that, I am not that good at it, but hey, here we are. We're trying. Let's see. And you know what? Give me just a moment. I'm going to share this to the McAuliffe page on Facebook because I know that they are going to love the opportunity to win some McAuliffe cigars. So sorry to all of you who are watching right now. We might have some competition for this. Let's see here. Is anyone else not tech savvy? I'm not that tech savvy. I try, but all right. Oh, hey, and here I am. All right. Let's see here. I hope everyone's having a great morning. I love Fridays. I'm not working right now, so I mean every day is sort of like a Friday, but I will be going back to work shortly due to COVID. I don't know if any of you are still off. Let's see here. All right, shared, boom, done. All right, so let's hit up our sports segment super quick. And, oh, I gotta change the screen too. All right, so the Sports Corner, brought to you by Nova Cigars. Nova is one of our other wonderful partners. And we are actually doing a discount code with them right now. So if you use SMKTAB15 at checkout, you save 15% on Nova Cigars. They are a direct-to-consumer cigar company, so you can only buy them online. But they are great. They're fabulous. If you haven't tried them, give them a shot. The code works on, I believe they have monthly promotions anyway, but you can double up and get their monthly promotion and the 15% off. So you should absolutely do that. So for sports, I am a New England girl. So what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about the Patriots. So they have had a challenging 2 weeks. Last week, Cam Newton, he tested positive for COVID. And then this week, their facility was on lockdown due to Stephen Gilmore being positive too. They were all tested this morning. I got an alert on my phone. I signed up for like all the news, all the sports stuff. And I guess no one else has tested positive. So great sign. You know, and actually just to talk about that a little bit more, the CDC, I believe, announced that COVID-19 is now airborne. I feel like the facts are changing all the time. I don't know about you, but that's what I feel about it. So I don't know how that's going to really affect sports, especially close contact sports like that, if it technically is airborne and people can contract it within 6 feet. That's what they're saying now. Could be wrong, but that, you know, there's a million different news sources, whatever. That's the last thing I heard as of yesterday. So, but there have been no new COVID cases on the team. The game has been postponed from Sunday to Monday, so hopefully that helps out. But Bill Belichick still can't say if Cam Newton's going to play or not, so it'll be up in the air on whether or not he's going to play. Such is life. I feel like it's just a difficult and challenging time with COVID, and everyone's just kind of taking it one day at a time. Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches, just like us and our show malfunctioning last night. So that really is all you can say and all you can do. So I just wanted to touch upon that. I'm going to have another sip of my lovely coffee from my Fuente mug. And look at that, it has the AF on the bottom too. Love it. All right, so let me switch back here. Producing and talking all at once. It is actually quite difficult. So I wanted to just go back to the main screen for a minute here. And is anyone listening who likes McAuliffe? Anyone? Because I'm going to give you a little trivia question here, and I guess I'll just keep talking until you get it. So my trivia question is, what is the name of Al McAuliffe's first restaurant? So if you can tell me in the comments, the first person, what the name is of his first restaurant, you will win 3 lovely sticks of McAuliffe cigars. And I do also have a box of McAuliffe matches. What? Yep, McAuliffe matches. And the cigars that you will win, if you can tell me the name of Al McAuliffe's first restaurant, you will win a, let's see here, what do I have in my hands? I have a Herencia Habano Toro. That's a 6x52. I have a Torcedores Torpedo, also 6x52. I could have just completely butchered that name. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go with Torcedores. Could be butchering it, but you never know. And then I also have a Nicaragua 6x54. So, anyone know the name of Al McAuliffe's first restaurant? I'm going to end the post anyway, but I guess if anyone chimes in and knows the answer to that question, the first person who comments below with that answer will win this, and I will mail these out to you. These are great sticks. We love McAuliffe. And you know what I'm going to do, actually, because I do want to talk a little bit more about McAuliffe, because our friends at McAuliffe are amazing. But what I'm going to do is stick this question up on screen and see if anyone can tell me. Give me a minute here. All right. Boom. Oh, someone already got it. Awesome. Awesome, Johnny. All right, Johnny. So you, of course that happens right as I put it up. You are the winner, though. So you will win these 3 lovely cigars. I will message you afterwards. And also you'll win the matches, the McAuliffe matches, and we'll get these mailed out to you. It's not the Caravan of Dreams. Johnny had it. Johnny had it right. So that was his first one. He had a couple different restaurants there. But I just wanted to share too, because I shared this to the McAuliffe Ambassador group, but we are live on just our regular Smokin Tabacco page. So if you have not heard of McAuliffe Cigars, they're amazing. They're showing up in more and more cigar stores. They actually are now going just to brick and mortar stores, and brick and mortar stores that do have online shops, but you know, they're just trying to be more friendly to the people down the street that are selling your cigars, and helping them out a little bit more. McAuliffe is amazing, and what you can do if you are new to McAuliffe is get something called the Passport Pack, and it is a tasting passport where you can taste, I believe there's 15 cigars in here, but you get to taste all 15 of their cigars. And I don't know, most places I think sell this as the bundle with the packet, but you can also just buy them individually and print the packet. They have a printable version, I believe, on their website. But it's so cool. So you open it up and you can actually like write down and fill out you know, your notes, like what notes that you taste. So it kind of guides you through like how to taste and what to taste in the cigar. It does actually give you some notes. So it's interesting. Like if you're smoking it, you could, this one, for example, the Migdalia is leather, earth, and coffee. So can you taste that as you're smoking it? And so it's a great way, especially if you're kind of more of a newbie to cigars. I've only been smoking for 6 months myself, so I am completely new to cigars. You know, it's kind of cool to be able to, you know, kind of try to test your palate, so to speak, to see if you can actually taste what the notes are in the blend. I think that's really cool. The other part of this passport pack is that they do, once you fill it out and you staple or you tape all your bands to it, you can mail it in and you have the opportunity to win prizes and merchandise. And it says right here, the 2020 prize program, there's a grand prize for a trip to the McAuliffe Cigar headquarters in Texas. Boom. So there's plenty of opportunity there. You'll also receive a one-time 20% off certificate for merchandise at McAuliffeCigars.com, which, by the way, that works on this gorgeous ashtray. And I would love 20% off. I wish I had 20% off on this, but I don't right now. So, so you'll get that. What is also really cool about McAuliffe, again, you can join their ambassador program. So their ambassador program is free. It's kind of like a group on Facebook. I say kind of, it is a group on Facebook, but it's a family of people who love McAuliffe cigars. All the cigars are great. I see Johnny in the comments. Yes, all of their cigars are amazing. I have not had a McAuliffe cigar I haven't loved. They are great, and they are great quality. But then you get to talk to other people about McAuliffe cigars. Also pretty cool. And they give you your own chip. So this is my ambassador coin chip. I called it a chip. It's a coin. Ambassador coin. And I am number 5336. And that is mine. So I am part of this group of people who love McAuliffe cigars. And it's just something unique that they do to bring lovers of their brand together. And I think that's so interesting. I've met a lot of great people from it. So I did just want to take some extra time to just chat about this today. So again, congratulations to Johnny. I'm going to mail you out these cigars. So I will send you a message to get your address. And we will get these cigars and your box of McAuliffe matches in the mail for you for getting that trivia question right. So thank you to everyone who just tuned in. Like I said, this is just a quick little makeup show from last night because we did have some technical difficulties. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut and splice and dice and put this in with what show that we had last night going on. We did have our guest, Reinier Lorenzo from HVC. Also could have butchered his name there. Sorry. Sorry if I did. I'm not great at it. But we're going to add the segment in, and then we're going to reload the show altogether. So thank you for joining me live this morning. If you are awake, it's 9:17, so hopefully most of you are awake. But if not, grab your coffee and enjoy a morning cigar because I can't, so have one for me today. Thank you so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.